Today we're talking about Duane Davis, the man on trial for the death of Tupac Shakur. Sam Bankman-fried has been found guilty on all counts, finally bringing the tale of the crypto king's reign to an end. After 7 years, absolutely no one is being held responsible for the Flint Michigan water crisis. And more, all in today's episode of the Insight Hour. So make sure you're subscribed, help a brother out and hit that like button, and let's get right into it. Alice, what do we have first?
First up in today's news, Duane Keith "Keffy D" Davis, a name entwined with the infamous Tupac Shakur case, has entered a not guilty plea in response to charges over the 1996 shooting.
Alright, so as of recording this, the prosecution has declined to pursue the death penalty, maybe hoping that a life sentence will suffice, or possibly keeping the option open as leverage for later on. In any case, they're proceeding tactfully as the evidence is, let's say, far from fresh. I mean, decades have now passed since the events in question. But the murder of Tupac is a pivotal unsolved mystery in pop culture, so I'm glad they're handling it with care. Now, despite a tell-all book from Davis, ambiguity still persists around what really happened. The trial represents a unique opportunity to unspool some of these lingering questions and shed some light on the darker aspects of the 1990s music scene and street life. Conversely, there is the matter of law enforcement finally closing a book on a case that stayed open across multiple generations. Anyways, the judges set his court date for next week to schedule the trial. Will Davis genuinely be able to provide missing clarity once and for all? Or will this amount to just another inconclusive footnote in a story that's already ventured onto the legend? Let me know what you think.
Sam Bankman-fried, FTX founder and prominent figure in the cryptocurrency sphere, has been found guilty on all counts in a swift jury verdict.
Well, it appears the proverbial chickens have come home to roost for SBF, who now faces a daunting 7-count indictment from the U.S. Attorney's Office from the Southern District of New York. The extensive allegations cover a wide range of financial improprieties. Definitely a dramatic fall for the once proclaimed king of crypto. Rather than a crown, he now potentially faces handcuffs and prison time. The rapid jury deliberation and unequivocal guilty verdict indicate the strength of the prosecution's case against SBF. The Crypto Council trade group echoed similar sentiments, having warned of fraudulent activities from the onset. By all accounts, SBF orchestrated a dangerous game of high-stakes deception at the expense of real investments and livelihoods. Perhaps most striking, if not least striking, is the litany of former partners, employees, and intimates who provided insider testimony against SBF. He ended up taking up the stand in what could only be described as a failed exercise in damage control. It created a picture of rampant corruption and dishonesty underneath the veil of a budding crypto industry. Ultimately, amidst all the drama of this trial, the victims must remain in the foremost of the mind, though. Real individuals suffered real financial losses, while SBF seemingly enriched himself. So, what lessons should be learned from SBF's narrative arc here? That rapid, unregulated growth often hides fraud, or merely that intentional deception eventually fails. In any case, one hopes the crypto space has taken notes. Accountability has entered the chat and stands poised to stay. But, I mean, hey, one step towards legitimization. So in your view, does this represent progress in legitimizing the Wild West aura of the cryptocurrency? Or is this just the first of potentially many dominoes to fall? Shout out in the comments.
Magic Johnson has officially joined the ranks of billionaire athletes. As reported by Forbes, Johnson's business acumen has placed him alongside Michael Jordan, LeBron James, and Tiger Woods in this exclusive club.
Alright, so that makes 2 this week, people. 2. The formidable Magic Johnson has parlayed his basketball stardom into a remarkably successful business career, now amassing a personal net worth of $1.2 billion. However, it's not just merely athletic achievement that yielded such prosperity. No. Mr. Johnson has demonstrated a penchant for strategic investments and entrepreneurship that extends far beyond the court. He netted roughly $40 million in salary during his storied NBA tenure, but compared to his commercial ventures, that almost seems trivial. Johnson managed to transform a $10 million stake in the Lakers franchise into a $29 million windfall, an uncanny full-court press on capitalization upon investment opportunities. Then his Starbucks gambit also proved fortuitous, recognizing potential in all the overlooked urban neighborhoods. The resulting 100-plus store openings generated $75 million in profit, turning coffee into a veritable gold. But we already knew that with Starbucks. Now, being human and prone to making mistakes as we are, Johnson did pass on Nike in favor for Converse earlier on in his career, which was likely a billion-dollar missed slam dunk in hindsight. He did pivot admirably through numerous ventures, though, from Dodgers baseball franchise to insurance and healthcare companies. Obviously, his insurance and healthcare and focus on HIV/AIDS coverage was particularly apt and personal, and when the billion-dollar sale of his company, Simply Healthcare, finalized, Johnson further cemented his business reputation. Today, he holds interests across numerous high-profile sports leagues from the NFL to the MLS, assembling a sports investment empire as diversified as his own legendary athletic portfolio. The takeaway is clear. Channeling athletic success into business prowess can yield generational wealth. Johnson exemplifies how passion and discipline can create lasting empires that outlive sports accolades. Certainly, his capitalistic triumphs are praiseworthy, though it makes you wonder if such prosperity concentrates within a select few whom are lucky enough or skilled enough to earn a massive cash injection. Is the system flawed? Perhaps there are more equitable ways to redistribute that amount of wealth that better serves the society as a whole. In any case, Johnson remains a model of personal achievement and acumen. So, congratulations, sir. You have beaten capitalism. Your reward? Being on my list of people who have too many money, just like Taylor. Good job, guys. Good job, people.
Clyde Cabulasan, 29, is facing multiple charges after a confrontation with a Las Vegas Metropolitan Police officer, in where Cabulasan assaulted the officer, commandeered a patrol vehicle, and caused a severe accident that critically injured 2 people, all while sporting his birthday suit.
Alright, so we've got Clyde here, butt-ass naked, turning a routine police call into our second instance of live Grand Theft Auto this week. First off, big props to Kyle Evan, the guy who caught this madness on camera. He was probably thinking he's about to see some fender bender action, but no! He got an eye full of cake. And then, our naked protagonist hijacked a police F-150. That's right, not a cruiser, a truck. Because go big or go home. And I instantly regret saying that. Just poor phrasing on my end. Maybe he was overcompensating with the truck? I don't know. Anyways, here's where it stops being funny. The wild ride ended in a crash that's got 2 people fighting for their lives now, having both sustained critical injuries and one of them facing possible paralysis. That's a pretty big price tag that no one should have to pay for someone else's joyride. Cabulasan's now been slapped with a laundry list of charges, so not everything that happens in Vegas stays in Vegas. Don't be a dumbass when you're out there, people. Keep your clothes on. Unless you're at one of those topless hotels, then, feel free.
In a significant development, the Flint water crisis, which began in 2014, has not led to any criminal convictions despite years of investigation and millions of dollars spent. The prosecution team, including Wayne County Prosecutor Kim Worthy, maintains that they possess the necessary evidence to prove crimes were committed against Flint's residents during this environmental disaster.
Once more, our eyes drift back to Flint, Michigan, where the quest for accountability remains unfulfilled. Despite exhaustive investigations spanning 7 sluggish years, not one charge has been brought upon those responsible for the city's water crisis. A gross yet unsurprising injustice forced upon the residents still struggling with the crisis's grim aftermath. Prosecutor Worthy may have assembled a giant cache of evidence, but in the end, no meaningful action was taken. An all too familiar story, those in power possessing every tool needed to deliver justice, but blatantly refusing to utilize them. The people of Flint deserve far better than the poisonous water, rampant disease, and lifelong healthcare consequences that they're receiving, but those who engineered the preventable disaster will face no formal punishment, just drifting away like a turd in the wind.
Like a turd in the wind.
Of course, vulnerable communities often find that their cries for justice fall upon deaf ears. Time and again, indifference triumphs over accountability, with the scales of justice balanced for some, but conspicuously lopsided for others. Flint's plights serve as just another dispiriting reminder of the status quo. So where does Flint go from here? Well, likely, nowhere. Based on precedent, their pleas will be met with superficial sympathy, but no actual recourse. And preventing future crisis? Well, that would require faith in an institution Flint residents can no longer reasonably possess. The people of Flint deserved far, far better than this. But achieving that will require all of us to get really fucking loud until it's finally received. Well, now that we've journeyed through the highs and the lows, from the streets of Vegas to the birth of billionaires, I think we'll end today's show. Always remember, our world is wild, unpredictable, and sometimes a little inspiring. But until next time, stay weird, stay safe, and I will see you on Monday. You made it all the way to the end of the video. Push that subscribe button and the like button for me. Thanks, friend. Bye.